Live from the Assembly Hall on the campus of the University of Illinois in Champaign, it's the battle for the Girls Class AA Basketball Championship for 1990. The always potent Commandos from Chicago Marshall, 26-5 on the season, a winner of 4 state championships against the Aurora West Blackhawks. They are 30-2, seeking their first state title.
The Illinois High School Association proudly presents another championship event. Your network sponsors for tonight's telecast are the country companies. When it matters the most, the country's behind you. And the Illinois pork producers. The 10,000 pork producers in Illinois encourage you to try the new lean, nutritious pork, the other white meat.
I'm Art Kimball, along with certainly our supreme analyst here, the head basketball coach at Maine West. And tonight we have the Blackhawks of West Aurora, Chicago Marshall. Darrell, going head-to-head, and you played Marshall.
We played Marshall this year. They're a very fine club, and it's fitting because anyone who wins the state championship in Illinois has to go through Marshall, and West Aurora is going to have to do that. What's your evaluation of how Marshall is playing now in comparison to when you played them? Marshall has got some of their freshmen that are playing a little bit better than they did when they played us. They've improved a lot in their ball handling, and what they do really is they kind of lull you to sleep, and then they come through and they trap you on the sides. They have a weakness inside, however, and if Aurora West can get the ball inside, they're going to have to put the ball in the basket from there to beat Marshall. A great duel between Pittman from Marshall and, of course, Spearman from Aurora West, two of the standout players in the state. Well, they are two of the standout players, and Melinda Spearman's got a green light to shoot wherever she wants to, whenever she wants to, and Kenya Pittman's pretty much the same, and both are exciting, and if those two are on, we could have a very high-scoring game. It'll be interesting, and we'll be back with more from the Assembly Hall following this word from the Illinois pork producers. Our guest now, Mark Proctor, the girls basketball coach at Aurora West. And Mark, this is a new experience for you and your girls, but one you like to make a regular occurrence, isn't it?
Yes, this is fun. It's a great experience, and I really envy those people who make it down year after year.
Is the key to your ball club how well Melinda Spearman plays?
Well, Melinda Spearman usually plays well. A lot of people think that we're a one-dimensional ball club, and she needs to score 30-plus points for us to win, which is not really true. If Melinda Spearman is double-teamed or they put a gimmick defense on her, she's very capable of finding open people as long as we move on offense.
You won a big ball game, certainly in the semifinals, from an always good East St. Louis Lincoln ball club. You had to play very, very hard. Will that affect you tonight?
Yeah, I think it will affect us positively because we had to play hard. We didn't have it easy, and I think it set the tone for this game.
Mark, good luck to you, and certainly congratulations on a great year.
Thank you very much.
Mark Proctor, the head coach at Aurora West, the skipper of the Blackhawks. And here's a young lady we've talked to before down here at the Assembly Hall, Dorothy Gators, the skipper of the Marshall Commandos. Dorothy, congratulations on another great year.
Thank you.
Your team, some freshmen playing key roles this year. Is the success of this team something of a surprise?
I'm not surprised. Even though we're pretty young, our freshmen have a lot of talent. So basically, we just had to try to fit them in with the fundamental things, and they've come along very well.
You won a big one from Mother McCauley today. I just asked Mark Proctor the same question. Are your kids at all spent from that ball game? It was a great effort.
I don't think so. I think that we have a lot of enthusiasm left, and we hope that we can perform well tonight.
You've been in this position many, many times, Dorothy, and you've had your successes. I don't suppose you ever get tired of it, do you?
No, I'm not tired of it. If I was tired, I probably wouldn't be coaching.
This is what it's all about. Best wishes to you, and thank you so much, Dorothy.
Thank you.
Dorothy Gators, the coach of the Commandos of Chicago Marshall, and we'll be back following this word from country companies.
Hope you're enjoying.
Well, there's a look at the Assembly Hall, Darrell Kipp, and I'm looking forward to this ball game. Both coaches, to me, seem more than willing for the battle, but both seem just a little bit tense, as you would be prior to a battle for a state championship.
Well, you have to be. No matter how many times you've been here, you're going to be tense, and you want your kids to play well, and you want everybody to look good on TV, so we're here and we're ready.
I made a little error on the intro, Darrell. I said that Marshall won 4 state championships. They have won 3. They are going for their 4th. They won in 1982, 1985, and 1989. That's a pretty good run, to say the least. And they've all been rather similar teams, haven't they?
They sure are. West Aurora and Marshall are pretty similar this year in the fact that they both want to run. They both play a fairly open game. They'll take shots. They'll take the three-point shots. They'll press, and they really play man-to-man and zone defenses both. So as the game goes along, there's going to be a lot of adjustments. And the only thing you really have to watch with Marshall is their secondary trap. They come out and they put pressure on you. You think you're safe, and then they trap you after you get the ball across the half-court line. And that's the main difference between Marshall and Aurora West right now.
Well, we're just about set for the introduction of the two rosters and the starting combinations. For that, let's switch across the floor at the Assembly Hall to Steve Adams.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the coaches and players for this championship game in Class AA, featuring the Blackhawks of West Aurora and the Commandos of Chicago Marshall. First, introducing West Aurora High School, entering this game with a record of 30 wins and 2 losses. Here is the head coach in his 9th season at the school, Mark Proctor. Assistant coaches, Donna Benson and Adrian Montgomery. And now the players. Number 10, a 5'4" sophomore, Jana Gustafson. Number 12, a 5'6" freshman, Elizabeth Schindel. Number 14, a 5'5" sophomore, Michelle Gianeski. Number 22, a 5'8" sophomore, Melissa Jackson. Number 24, a 5'4" junior, Shaquita Harden. Number 30, a 5'7" senior, Monica Kolb. Number 32, a 5'8" sophomore, Misha Adams. Number 42, a 5'7" junior, Trina Dunn. Number 44, a 5'9" sophomore, Dina Brono. And number 52, a 5'8" freshman, Tanisha Rush. And now the starting lineup. At one forward, a 5'10" senior, 54, Trisha Paisley. At the other forward, a 5'8" senior, number 34, Melinda Spearman. At center, a 5'11" senior, number 50, Tiki Massey. At one guard, a 5'3" senior, number 20, Amy Pierman. And at the other guard, a 5'8" sophomore, number 40, Jeannie Hinkie. Those are the Blackhawks of West Aurora High School. And now let's meet the Commandos of Chicago Marshall, entering this game with a record of 26-5. Here is the head coach of Marshall in her 15th season, Dorothy Gators. Assistant coach, Al Williams. And now the players. Number 4, a 5'4" junior, Julia Humphrey. Number 5, a 5'2" freshman, Latondra Thompson. Number 10, a 5'6" freshman, Yolanda Miller. Number 14, a 5'11" junior, Sandra Crockett. Number 15, a 5'7" junior, Jewel Brinson. Number 34, a 6'2" sophomore, Herlanda Thigpen. And now the starting lineup for Chicago Marshall. At one forward, a 5'9" senior, 23, Kenya Pittman. At the other forward, a 5'7" sophomore, number 20, LaShonda Price. At center, a 6'1" freshman, number 21, Marie Hill. Correction, Marie Scott. At one guard, a 5'7" freshman, number 22, Kim Williams. And at the other guard, a 5'3" senior, number 11, Sabrina Harris. Those are the Commandos of Chicago Marshall. The officials for this championship game, Charles Houston of Macomb and Chris Sen, also of Macomb.
And there you have the introduction of the starting lineups, the rosters, and the officials. We'll be back with the opening tip-off following these messages.
What's the other reason for chopsticks? The other light, late-night bite.
Up in a minute, Hyde.
The other fast family favorite. The other romance and candlelight. What is this other tempting food for thought? It's the other white meat, none other than pork.
If you believe in the wire service polls, at least the Associated Press poll, West Aurora was ranked number 4 in the final poll, and Chicago Marshall ranked number 5. They're playing for the state AA championship. Peoria Emanuel was ranked 1, Maine West 2, and Immaculate Heart of Mary 3 in the final poll of the regular season. So here you have the 4 and 5 ranked teams. Aurora West in their scarlet uniforms, Marshall in their gold, and we're underway. The Commandos have the basketball. Solo drive for 2, and give the field goal to LaShonda Price. So Marshall using his great quickness right off the bat. Here you see full court trapping type of zone press.
This is their 1-1-2-1 press that they use, and they fall back into a 1-3-1 after this usually.
And they force the turnover. Marshall now, they throw it away as there's Melinda Spearman. First time she's handled the ball. Of course, the game's just underway for the Blackhawks. Down the right side to Tricia Paisley. Paisley eyes it, doesn't try it. Well back out on the floor now to Amy Perriman as the Blackhawks try to settle down, looking at a Marshall. Looks like a man-to-man, is it?
It's a 2-3.
Is it a 2-3?
Yeah,
I guess it is out front. Two-person front. Spearman just destroyed it. Melinda Spearman over the 2-3 zone with the right-handed jumper to make it a 2-2 ball game. Not quite a three-point range. Here are the Commandos up quickly. Down low on the drive. The basket is not going to count. LaShonda Price exploded the ball and then to the basket, grabbing the pass but walked in the process.
Just fumbled the pass a little bit and cost her the bucket.
Here's that full court pressure once again as Darryl described it for you. Perriman bringing the ball up for the Blackhawks. Fires the pass over the timeline now to Paisley. Now they come cross court to Spearman. Spearman tries the jumper. Free throw line extended. Comes up a little bit short. Ball stolen away. Taken by Paisley. Paisley's jumper, no good. I think they're going to fire it up there a little bit, Darryl, tonight.
They don't hold back.
Both teams cut her loose. Of course, in college, you know, the girls play on a 30-second clock, and that's a tremendously quick game, and these girls play at about the same pace. This year difference, of course, between A and AA. You have more quickness and more size, generally speaking. Beautiful backdoor play. Give the assist. The key to LaShonda Price. The layup to All-Stater Kenya Pittman. 4-2 Marshall. Blackhawks come roaring down on the attack. Here's the bounce pass. Low. Layup. Good to Tiki Massey. 5-4. Getting off to a good start here as Harris comes over the timeline for Marshall. To Kim Williams. Williams, a freshman. Right back out to Sabrina Harris. Sabrina's a 5'3" senior, an 18-year-old. You say, Darryl, she's really been the glue in this club down the stretch.
I think she's played very well. I think she's really pulled them together. It's her 4th year down here, and she's used to the competition and used to the pressure.
LaShonda Price's shot came up short. Melinda Spearman had the board for the Blackhawks to Amy Perriman. Perriman bringing it down. Puts on the brakes. Almost run over there by Marie Scott, who got stopped just in time. Here is the feed low. A shot by Massey blocked on the inside. Good defensive effort, and Marshall comes back up the other way with Kim Williams on the drive. Williams going to go the distance. Lays it up and in. The basket counts, and she was fouled on the play.
Williams is just an outstanding freshman. Dorothy Gators has said that she's probably going to be the best player she's ever had, and I can believe it. She had 19 points in the first half against Maine West in a game where she looked like an All-American, and she's going to do nothing but get better. You saw it on that move right there.
Yeah, carries a 14.3 average, a 6.9 rebounding mark. She's a freshman, 15 years old.
And her only problem this year, she's gotten in foul trouble big time, and that takes her right out of a lot of games. But if she stays in the ball game, it's going to make a big difference.
Missed the free throw. Then you saw Melinda Spearman desperately for the Blackhawks trying to hang on to the pass, lost it out of bounds, and as a result, Marshall will trigger it in. Kenya Pittman making the play in. That's Williams out front. Here's Harris. On the right side, the long bomb, nothing but net for Kenya Pittman. They swung Pittman to the right side of the defense.
Kenya Pittman's a legitimate three-point shooter. They just can't leave her stand out there.
9-4, Marshall by 5. Down quickly, Paisley, and Paisley's going to be called for traveling as the Blackhawks off to kind of a shaky start in this one.
This is going to be the key for West Aurora. It's that ball handling out right between the hash mark and the half-court line. If they get past that, then they're going to be able to attack them. But if they
you said all day long, Darrell, you have to get the ball inside on the Commandos.
That's where they're weakest.
Here's Kim Williams. Williams down low to Pittman. Pittman lost the ball, juggled it, and then lost it off her fingertips out of bounds. Kenya Pittman, a moment ago, we saw her on the perimeter. Free throw line extended off here right in front of our position. That time they posted her up down low, so she's certainly, unquestionably, a two-way scoring threat at least for Marshall.
That was on the out-of-bounds play. She got that jumper off, and they're playing man-to-man, West Aurora, and when the West Aurora plays man-to-man,
Melinda Spearman missed, but Tiki Massey with the board.
Big board. When West Aurora is playing man-to-man, they're going to put Pittman inside on her. That's part of their offense.
Down the lane is Williams. Williams lost it momentarily, gets the ball off to Scott. Tipped by Williams, no good. Loose basketball, and Marie Scott comes back with it. A whistle, let's see if they're going to call a foul. Looks like it will go against the Commandos. And the personal foul was called on Marie Scott.
That was a tough call on Marie Scott. They were just fighting for the ball, and could have gone, no call would have been a little better in that.
Both officials are out of Macomb. Charlie Houston and Chris Sen working the state title ball game. 9-6 Marshall. On the drive for Aurora West. Here's the shot off the glass and in by Tricia Paisley. Nice dish by Jenny Hinkey to set the play up.
Kim Williams turned the ball over, trying to get a little bit too fast. Freshman mistake, but...
And a 9-8 score is the West Aurora tempo starting to help them a little bit?
I think so. I think there's a trap right at the half-court line.
Spearman works off now to Amy Perriman. Jenny Hinkey and Perriman, pretty good backcourt there for the Blackhawks, and now going to the baseline is Spearman. She pulls it up, misses it. The rebound to Hinkey. Hinkey makes the save, baseline right, as she comes to Perriman back out front now for the Blackhawks in a 9-8 ball game with 3:58 showing first quarter. Right side, here's Jeannie Hinkey, launches it. Misfires, but Spearman's there with the board and bites it in.
Jeannie Hinkey gets a lot of loose balls in the game this afternoon. She was instrumental in a lot of loose ball pickups.
There's a steal, another shot by Spearman, no good. This time the rebound wrestle clear. Marshall has it down 1. Kim Williams up on the attack to Pittman. Her shot won't go. Rebound, Tricia Paisley. Paisley gets the ball off to Perriman. Amy Perriman gallops up on the drive, off to Spearman. We got a traveling violation called against the Blackhawks. Traveling is probably the most common call in girls basketball.
I wish it was when we played in our sectional game, but it sure wasn't.
You'd like to see it go to the opposition that particular night.
Just depends on who the officials are in the game. Some call it and some really let it go.
It's been called frequently here, no question about that. It's a 10-9 ball game. Blackhawks leading by 1 with a little flurry. Spearman has a couple of buckets, Massey a couple, and one by Tricia Paisley. Marshall looking for the go-ahead hoop now with 3:15 to go in the quarter. It's out to Sabrina Harris. The little gal penetrates to the baseline, lost it out of bounds. Harris put the ball on the floor at 5'3", tried to drive around. The ball was deflected out of bounds. It looked like Tricia Paisley primarily had pretty good defensive position out of the Blackhawk man.
She was going in there looking to dish to Kenya Pittman, and they covered that pretty well, and she had nowhere to go and just dropped it out of bounds.
Pittman cut off Perryman there in the center circle, but Perryman got the ball off to Melinda Spearman. Spearman's taken well over 735 shots this season. They pretty well give her a free rein, don't they?
Yeah, she shot more three-point shots than the entire Marshall team, so.
Shot rolls off from the side by Paisley, and underneath, we're going to have an elbowing foul whistled against Tiki Massey for Aurora West. Take a look at this, Mr. Kip, if you will.
Well, the inside play is definitely the key, and almost over the back, and just a little bit of blocking out. It just went Marshall's way on that call.
And we got an official timeout at the Assembly Hall with West Aurora up by 1 at 10-9. Now this from one of your network sponsors, the Illinois Pork Producers.
What did it mean coaching in the state tournament? It was really a dream come true. It was two sons playing basketball for me. It was my wife getting very involved. It was two sons that became all-state basketball players. It was a dream for a father that came true at Champaign, Illinois.
Bob Gregorich, who coached Havana to the Elite Eight 5 times, and his fellow country company's agents salute the players in this week's tournament.
Daryl, just noticing, we were talking about Melinda Spearman. She's actually taken 786 shots coming into this tournament. I was a little bit conservative. There you see the turnover count. Marshall with 7, Aurora West with 3, but Spearman shoots 49% from the field, 31% of three-point range, 64% at the line. That's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all. She's an outstanding player, and we'll talk more about her with the All-State teams.
Has she announced a college choice yet?
She'd like to go to Arizona State, but is not signed as yet.
All right, here is Pittman out front. Kenya Pittman, fine ball player for Chicago Marshall. Pass inside, deflected away by Kolb. She has just come on for the Blackhawks to Spearman. Down the floor to Paisley. Paisley puts on the brakes in the offensive zone, eyes it, tries it, missed it. Flat-footed rebound taken away underneath by Marshall's Marie Scott. Scott at 6'1", a 15-year-old freshman. Some kids on this Marshall club, but they certainly play like veterans.
They sure do. A lot of poise for freshmen.
Now, your Maine West club beat them by 1, you say, or by 2?
No, we beat them by 3.
Beat them by 3. Really routed them, huh?
Yeah, we were down 10 with 4 minutes left and just came back and did a good job. We got the ball inside, and that's how we beat them.
Pittman missed on the inside. Scott missed one on the inside. And then another flurry as LaShonda Price missed on the inside.
Although you saw an offensive board by Marshall, but also Tiki Masley is out of the game. And that's a big problem for West Aurora. They've got to control the boards. Paisley and Massey controlled them early, and now one of them's out. So they
took Massey out at 5'11" and have replaced her with Monica Kolb at 5'7".
That's a big difference.
Yeah, now Kolb is a senior, but not as big. There's a nice move by Sabrina Harris. Sabrina with a nice pull-up jumper off the glass and in. Got in, what, 8 feet, 9 feet?
Yeah, she penetrated right in there. They're back in their 1-2-1-1 press again, and they'll try to trap right over the line. But
Marshall by 1 at 11-10. Here's Paisley on the move, swish. Tricia Paisley with a good pull-up jumper off the dribble. A lot of people say the girls don't shoot that shot very well, but good ones do. 12-11 West Aurora.
That was an outstanding shot.
Ball handling out front. It's Kim Williams, the freshman guard, on the right side of the floor now as we view it to LaShonda Price. The pass to Pittman, and not quite ready for the pass was Kenya. Kenya lost the ball in the corner of his offensive zone, or her offensive zone. The basketball will go back now to the Blackhawks. Checking in for Marshall, wearing number 10, Yolanda Miller with a 5.5 scoring average. Another freshman, a 5'6", 15-year-old. There must be a lot of grade school girls basketball in Chicago, or at least in the parks, the summer rec programs and so forth.
Not as much in the Chicago proper. They have a hard time getting their kids together, but once they get them, they really do a good job.
Well, they must really coach them then, because a lot of great freshman talent. Down low, Paisley rattles it in. Tricia Paisley. Of course, the Blackhawks have been among the state's top-ranked ball clubs all season long. Mark Proctor diligently looking at some notes over there on the Blackhawk bench as his assistant watches the ball game, as apparently Mark wants to check something out, and he's talking it over with his assistant coach with 23 seconds left to go in the first period. 14-11. On the drive to the glass, Kim Williams airballs it, follows and got it. Nice play by the freshman Kim Williams, great penetration, slid the baseline, missed, came back and got it. West Aurora's lead is down to 1 with 8 seconds to go in the quarter. Here's Kolb, double teamed at the 10-second line. Passes for Paisley, throws it away. So with 3.1 seconds here in the Assembly Hall in Chapter 1, Chicago Marshall will inbound the basketball. Dorothy Gators has a 15-year record, 4-15 and 41. Pittman from the twilight zone, it's just barely short. A 40-footer, this barely scraped the outer iron, and that's it after 1 at the end of 1 period. In the battle for the AA state championship, West Aurora 14, Chicago Marshall 13. Well, there you see the Blackhawks with a very narrow 1-point margin as we prepare to go to the second quarter. Marshall shooting 43%, 6 of 14. Aurora West 7 of 16, 44% from the field. So both clubs certainly respectable, particularly in light of the fact that we're seeing pretty intense defense, Darryl.
Marshall's had 9 turnovers already, but that's the way they play. They get the ball up the floor, turn it over, but they can get it right back with their defense.
I would imagine West Aurora throws it away a few times, too. They both play at a pretty good tempo. Marshall back in their 2-3 zone. Here's Spearman. Spearman's shot won't ring the bell, and the rebound, Pittman. Kenya high for the rebound. She roars down, feeds off to Yolanda Miller for the drive-in layup, and it won't go, and there's the rebound by Tiki Massey. As Darrell pointed out, it's very important on the boards for the Blackhawks to have Massey in there, and she just proved it with a big defensive board. Pass for Spearman. Spearman had it on her fingertips, couldn't hold it. Lost it out of bounds. The basketball now goes back to the Blackhawks.
Now, West Aurora is not pressing, but if you press Marshall, you can get them into a little bit of an up-tempo game, and they'll make mistakes off of it. Right now, they're just letting Marshall walk the ball up and look at the defense, which is a man-to-man.
Well, I would think mistakes would be natural as young as this Marshall club is, but that doesn't always mean a lot. Yolanda Miller out on the point. Here is Sabrina Harris, and we've got a lane violation as Kenya Pittman was in there just a shade too long.
Right. They start out in a 1-4 set, and then they try to bring Kenya Pittman down low and penetrate, and then if she doesn't get it, she steps out, and then the freshman, Kim Williams, will step in there, and they'll try to get the ball inside that way.
It's kind of the classic Chicagoland matchup, isn't it, Darrell? The big city against the suburbs.
Oh, it sure is.
As we so frequently see in sports in Illinois. Here is Spearman. Spearman shot, rolls out of there, no good. Power rebound, up and in, gives the bucket to Massey. Tiki Massey at 16-13, West Aurora. Second period of play. Third place ball game. Went to East St. Louis narrowly. Very narrowly out here tonight. As they defeated Mother McCauley 53-51. Can't get it much more narrow than that.
Mother McCauley is probably next year's favorite team in Chicago. They have everyone coming back except one player, and they're going to be tough next season.
I was going to say, shed no tears for Mother McCauley.
No.
They'll be heard from.
I'm sure they will.
Massey out front to Amy Perriman. There's Perriman trying to move into that zone defense. Off to Spearman. Spearman launches it. She hasn't caught fire yet. And Kenya Pittman with the rebound. Down the floor to Yolanda Miller on the solo drive. Puts it on the deck and scores.
You have to get back, and that's the point guard's responsibility on any shot. She was caught a little bit flat-footed looking at the ball.
16-15. West Aurora lead is paired to a point. Here is Massey on the baseline. Over to Paisley. Paisley to Spearman. Spearman from the right corner. Won't go. Rebound. Hickey. Good. Jeannie Hickey off the unprotected weak side makes it 18-15 Blackhawks. Kenya Pittman glances back over at the commando bench at Dorothy Gators and Coach Williams, her assistant over there. Well out on the floor, Sabrina Harris. Left side to Yolanda Miller. It's interesting the way the basketball power has swung in Chicago over the years. Here's Sabrina Harris. Marshall so dominant in boys basketball for years and always good in girls basketball. And now the boys dominance has swung, of course, to King and Simeon and Dunbar. And yet Marshall and now Washington are the public league powers in girls basketball.
Washington, Whitney Young, Morgan Park, they're all going to be good next year. And Marshall, of course, is always good. So
E.C. Hill, the great player for Whitney Young.
He's outstanding.
Paisley shot, rims the bucket, rolls away on the rebound. We got a little pushing and shoving going on. And I believe Tiki Massey got caught for pushing off. Let's take a look at it, Darrell. Tell us what happens down here.
Well, they're fighting for the rebound, and inside position. Kenya jumps back into Tiki, and they just call the foul on the outside person.
Yeah, that's one of those could go either way, most certainly. There's a look at Tiki Massey, her third personal foul, and as a result, she's going to take a seat. That's the reason she was out earlier. She picked up a second foul. Now it's foul number 3. And back in for her is Monica Kolb. So again, the Blackhawks give up that height with a 1-point lead at 18-17. Good drive. Shot by Williams. Blocked. Deflected out of there. The follow no good. Scott on the follow. Off the glass and in. Marie Scott.
See, right away, Tiki Massey's out, and they go right to the offensive boards. That's going to be a big key in this basketball game.
19-18 Marshall, and the ball deflected out of bounds in front of the scorer's table across from our broadcasting position. We've changed locations here in the assembly hall. We were on the same side of the floor with the scorer's table for years and years and years, and now I'm back over here. Okay, let's take a look at this one, Darrell.
Kim Williams goes in, and Melinda Spearman comes in from the backside, but look at how quick Marshall is going to the boards.
Yeah, Marshall's quickness is a great asset, no question about that. Here's Amy Perriman, bounce pass off to Kolb. Kolb looks inside, nothing there, comes back out to Perriman. She has Tricia Paisley out front with her. It's Kolb in the right corner. She's wearing number 30. Here's the skip pass to Melinda Spearman. Spearman being covered virtually man-to-man by Pittman in that particular situation. Marshall still in the 2-3 zone. Here's Spearman. Spearman launches it, got it, three-pointer. 7 points for Spearman, her first 3, 21-19. And a foul on Spearman Well, not really away from the ball. She was just called for the reach-in. That's her first. A real coach's dilemma, Darrell. Here you have only 4 fouls in your team, 3 on one player. Let's take a look at this one.
Boy, that was the cleanest slap I've seen at a ball lately.
Yeah, that's a little suspect, I think. All depends on the angle the official has, though. Yolanda Miller at long range. Guys done a good job down here in the Assembly Hall, and these are 2 of the more physical teams. What a great move by Kim Williams. No cigar. Yolanda Miller shot no good. Her follow-up is up and in. Miller missed the first one. The freshman, a 15-year-old at 5'6", got the second one home. It's 21-21. Marshall Club's going to be around for a while. Ball stolen by the Commandos. Here is Miller. Miller loses it going down the lane. Collides with Kolb. Knocked out of bounds. They're going to call a double dribble and give it to Aurora West. Both teams getting just a little bit out of control at this particular point. Both trying to run.
You got to be careful against Marshall. You can't throw the ball more than halfway down the court and expect to get it completed. They're just too quick.
Yeah, there you see a little bit of the confusion. Yolanda Miller with a great save.
Yeah, she just couldn't control.
Okay, back to live action. Here's Paisley. Paisley, a little penetration. Shot up and off. No good. Rebound. Kenya Pittman for the Commandos. Here's Pittman on the outlet. Down here to Kim Williams. Makes a great save. Williams slides in. Great feed to Miller. No good. And a foul. This is on Melinda Spearman cutting her off. And, of course, the Blackhawks now getting themselves in a situation where 2 of their key players could get in foul trouble very rapidly. Second one on Spearman.
Watch this pass. This is just outstanding. No-look pass.
On 34, Melinda Spearman. It's her second.
At the line, LaShonda Price. This is AA girls basketball in Illinois. Quite a show. This state really has produced an unbelievable number of great female athletes in all sports.
Oh, they sure have. And there's so many high school girls basketball players getting scholarships now at big-time schools. It's unbelievable. And we'll talk about that, too, when we come back to the All-State team.
I noted reading some state tournament history. Young lady by the name of Jackie Joyner with East St. Louis Lincoln not too many years ago, who went on to become one of the all-time great Olympic stars. That's just one of many produced by this state.
Oh, yeah, she was an outstanding player, and they played Marshall in an outstanding game down here. I'll never forget that game.
23-21, Marshall by a pair, and the Blackhawks throw it away. A little bit of the Blackhawk poise seems to be draining right now with 3:16 to go in the half. Of course, this is a critical point in the ball game for both clubs. If you can make a run and go in there at the halftime intermission with some sort of control, it definitely dictates what you're going to do in the second half. But, Darrell, do you think we'll see West Aurora go to any pressure?
I think they will later in the game.
There's a rebound, Melinda Spearman. Your turnover count. Marshall with 12, Aurora West with 7. Both teams throwing the ball around a little bit. Here's Kolb. Kolb for the Blackhawks in the paint. Rattles it up. Won't go. And right now, the Blackhawks pretty well getting one shot.
And they're not getting back on defense either.
Here's Harris to Pittman, down the lane to Kim Williams. We got a foul, block. It's going to be called on Tricia Paisley, her first foul. Watch the tempo on this and the passing. My goodness.
Well,
we're seeing Marshall go to little underhand shuffle passes because they're right on top of one another, and they have run their break very successfully, and as a result, they have the 2-point lead. Really, they've been breakout baskets after misses by the Blackhawks.
Yeah, West Aurora is not getting back on defense, and that's just right up Marshall's alley. They take the ball out, and they go right to the basket.
Kim Williams, that's the free throw. Commandos 24, Blackhawks 21. There's a good look at the freshman, Kim Williams. 14.3 season's average. Second throw, in and out, won't go. Rebound. Back down the lane, shot is up and in, and give the basket to, let's see who they give it to.
LaShonda Price.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Number 20. Price with the bucket.
Nice.
26-21. Paisley for the Blackhawks, rattles around, will not go down. And once again, the Blackhawks don't get possession of the rebound, but it was deflected out of bounds by Marshall.
And that last bucket came off an offensive rebound by Marie Scott, and they're really missing Tiki Massey right now.
Massey's riding with 3 fouls. We got a timeout taken with 2:28 to go in the half. Marshall leading 26-21. And now this from one of your network sponsors, the Illinois Pork Producers. Well, there you see the rebounding story of the ball game. Marshall with 19, Aurora West with 10. And boy, that's a tremendous factor. And the pressure defense, Darrell, by Marshall has also been pretty lethal in the second quarter.
Well, Marshall uses that 1-1-2-1 press, and
they can really come up the floor. They get a trap right about the half-court line, and if you throw that long pass, they come from the backside and they can pick that off.
Yeah, if we can retain this camera angle, the next time Marshall goes on defense, we might be able to get a pretty good look at that type of pressure. It has been successful. Harriman out front to Spearman. Spearman at long range, got the three. Boy, she can shoot you right back in it. Melinda Spearman, their second three-pointer, and it's 26-24.
Well, they needed that badly right then.
Suddenly a 6-point deficit is narrowed. And here's Perriman. Or a 5-point deficit, I guess I should say. Perriman trying to dribble out of traffic. Was crowded along the sideline, and crowded to the point where she was fouled by Kim Williams. Foul number 1 on Williams. Marshall has committed only 2 personal fouls the entire ball game.
Right, and Kim Williams, who usually gets in a lot of foul trouble, has avoided them, and that's a big key for Marshall.
Second team foul on Marshall.
Well, according to the scoreboard, the only one in foul trouble really for West Aurora, unfortunately for the Blackhawks, is their key rebounder, Tiki Massey, who is riding with 3. Melinda Spearman has a couple of personal fouls. There you see Kim Williams, the Marshall freshman, number 22. Got a 2-point ball game, 26-24, thanks to the 3-point shot by Spearman. Ball stolen away. Marshall breaks out again. Down the floor. Layup by LaShawna Price is good. And we've got a 28-24 ball game. And once again, there now you get a look at it. The overhead camera, great camera angle, and you really don't see a lot of the press right there, but you get the idea of the way Marshall has that floor covered. Pretty good defensive balance. A shot misfired on the inside by the Blackhawks, taken by Paisley, and here are the Commandos back down. Crockett's on the floor, number 14 for Marshall. Here is an inside move by LaShawna Price for another field goal. Price has 10 points already, Darrell.
Yeah, they're getting that penetration to the basket, and she's just able to go right through the defense.
30-24, Marshall by 6. Spearman, Eisen, long bomb, 2-point shot, no good.
They're back again.
Here's Williams, football pass to Kenya Pittman for the layup. She got it. Marshall now to their biggest lead of the ball game, an 8-point cushion with 59 seconds to go in the half. Another Marshall steal.
Right
Pittman to
track.
Williams for another layup. For Harris, make it Sabrina Harris. 34-24, and there's that full court pressure really taking a toll. Another steal. Pittman for the Commandos, down to Harris for the layup. She's got it.
They're really busting it open. You just can't throw lob passes against Marshall. It's got to be pass fakes, it's got to be bounce passes, and you really got to be careful. There's another lob.
There's another interception. 3 or 4 times in a row, the Blackhawks haven't got the ball to the timeline.
Spearman's better be careful. She'll get a foul here.
LaShawna Price had the basketball. Here's Sabrina Harris, 22 seconds to go in the half, and suddenly the Commandos lead it by 12. Melinda Spearman called for kicking the ball. Well, Mark Proctor's got a real project on his hands at halftime. He was right in this ball game after a 3-pointer by Spearman, but that was the last bucket they scored. And since then, I believe it was 4 times in a row, Darrell, that the Blackhawks did not get the ball to the 10-second line. All 4 resulted in Marshall buckets.
Yeah, it's just poor selection on the passes, the way they're throwing the ball, and you just got to be really careful against Marshall.
Now the Commandos, of course, will play it down for 1 shot. Holding high over here is Yolanda Miller, number 10. She passes to Sabrina Harris. Sabrina Harris, 3-point range. This one doesn't go, but the rebound by Pittman is, almost in. Hung on the outer rim, rolled away. Didn't drop. But at halftime, we've got a 12-point lead to Chicago Marshall. The Commandos up 36-24. Let's pause for these messages. Well, there you see the halftime score. The Commando Blitzkrieg is on, Darrell Kipp, no question about it. A tremendous run in the second quarter. They outscored West Aurora 23-10, and I have a feeling it's up to Mark Proctor now to make some adjustments at halftime, but I wouldn't be the least bit surprised when we come out and see the Blackhawks do some pressing. But you have said throughout the broadcast, if there's one theme from Darrell Kipp tonight, West Aurora is not getting back on defense, and that is killing them.
No, and they're not getting the ball inside either. In fact, once their center went out on fouls, they started even shooting from the perimeter more instead of working the ball. Tiki Massey went out, and Paisley's just taking jumpers from the free throw line extended, and there's no one to rebound it.
Well, they're going to have to put Tiki back in and take their chances. Otherwise, the horse will be out of the barn before this club is catchable.
Yes, and you really have to get back on defense. It's a point guard's responsibility. Whenever the ball is shot, just go back, because Marshall's going to go down every time when they get the rebound, and they're going to run you.
I wonder if maybe Coach Proctor's thinking wasn't playing the man-to-man defense and not pressing. he may have felt if he started to press, indeed he would be vulnerable to that fast break layup and so forth. Well, I think I was going to let Darrell answer the question, but let's first get to these introductions on the floor, the presentation of the third and fourth place trophy, and switch you over now to Steve Adams in the Assembly Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to mid-court for the presentation of the third and fourth place team and individual awards for the girls Class AA State Basketball Tournament. Presenting medallions to the squad members of the fourth place team will be Mrs. Lynn St. James of Lindblom High School in Chicago, who serves the IHSA as a member of the board, and Mr. Leroy Newton of Carterville, who serves the IHSA as vice president of the board. At this time, let's meet the Mighty Macs of Chicago Mother McCauley, who finished the season in fourth place with a final record of 26 wins and 7 losses. Let's meet the principal of Mother McCauley, Sister Corrine Raven. Head coach, Diane Dara. Assistant coach, Sue Ludwig. Assistant coach, Kim Pavlich. And now the players. Number 14, Kathy Thomas. Number 23, Julie Byros. Number 12, Joanne McCarthy. Number 24, Patty Harvey. Number 30, Lisa Aparo. Number 22, Heather Bell. Number 21, Katie Whittingham. Number 34, Sarah Benner. Number 25, Tracy Reardon. Number 20, Megan Lucid. Number 33, Noreen Nolan. Number 32, Becky Kulakauskas. Statistician, Sister Raz Ayasillo. And scorekeeper, Sister Mary Horrell. And now, presenting the medallions to the third place team will be Mr. Newton and Mr. William Mitz of Monticello High School, who serves the IHSA as secretary of the board. At this time, please meet the Tigerettes of East St. Louis Lincoln, who finished the season in third place with a final record of 25 wins and 1 loss. Let's meet the principal of East St. Louis Lincoln High School, Mr. John Bailey Jr. Athletic Director, Jimmy Adams. Head Coach, Charles McDonald. And now the players. Number 55, Rosetta Duncan. Number 41, Raquel Ransom. Number 45, Anjanette Sumrall. Number 15, Angel Bursey. Number 11, Montrese Granberry. Number 31, Shanteria Evans. Number 53, Samantha Stevenson. Number 35, Montrese Miller. Number 23, Madonna Akins. Number 33, Tammy Williams. Number 43, Taquita Norman. Number 21, Rory Clark. And number 51, Rolanda Lewis. Assistant coach, Theodora Smith. Assistant coach, Alonzo Nelson. Manager, George Ward. Manager, Teresa Wills. And statistician, Roderick Glover. And now for the trophy presentations. Presenting the fourth place trophy will be Mr. Tom Howard of Fremd High School in Palatine, who serves the IHSA as the president of the board. Will Coach Diane Dara and the captains of Mother McCauley High School please step forward to receive the fourth place trophy. Mr. Howard, if you please. Congratulations to Chicago Mother McCauley, this year's 4th place finisher in Class AA. And now presenting the 3rd place trophy will be Mrs. St. James. Will Coach Charles McDonald and the captains of East St. Louis Lincoln please step forward to receive the 3rd place trophy. And there it is, the Tigerettes of East St. Louis Lincoln High School, the 3rd place finishers in this year's Class AA state tournament.
All right, there you have the presentation of the individual medallions to these fine players, and of course the 3rd place and 4th place trophies. An evening that they will cherish in their memories forever, most certainly. Later tonight, we'll see the presentation for the state champion and the runner-up. Right now, at halftime, we have a 36-24 ball game. Marshall leading Aurora West, and let's pause for a word from one of your network sponsors, the Illinois Pork Producers. Let's listen to the Batavia Pep Band for just a moment. We'll tell you a little bit about these kids in just a moment. They are performing here in this championship evening of the AA State Tournament. The Pep Band from Batavia, and there you see them. We're kind of sneaking up on them. We didn't tell them they were going to be doing a feature number or anything, so I'll just let you listen to them for a second here.
They're very good.
There you see the Pep Band from Batavia. I didn't know if they're going to make it down here at all today with the terrible weather in the state of Illinois today. And of course, they had a great deal of trouble coming out of the Chicago area, and more specifically from Batavia, the Aurora area. They made it down in time for this session. In fact, actually, I think they were down for part of the afternoon session at Darrell, and great performers, but they had a tough day getting there.
Yeah, they've been here all day, and they're probably right at the end of it now.
Take a look at team stats. I looked to my left, looked to my right, and there they are. Okay. Marshall, 16 of 31 from the field. And a lot of these have been layups, remember. They're shooting 52%. On the other hand, Aurora West is 11 of 30. They have not been shooting as many layups, for 37%. I'm going to look at the rebounding. That's got to be significant. 21-11, the edge to Marshall.
Those second shots and putbacks, especially when they got in foul trouble, really hurt Aurora West.
Turnovers, 12 for Marshall, 11 for Aurora West. That shows you how meaningless sometimes the turnover can be, as long as the other team is doing the same thing you are.
Well, when you turn the ball over in the back court, you got problems.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened. They aren't getting the ball across the half court 4 or 5 times in a row, and boy, Marshall took advantage.
Yeah, of those 12 turnovers, at least 5 or 6 have been layup baskets for the Commandos. Take a look at the scoring. Melinda Spearman, averaging 29 a game for Aurora West, has 10. Paisley was 6, Massey was 6, Massey with 3 fouls, Spearman with 2. For Marshall, good balance. LaShonda Price with 10, and Sabrina Harris has 8, and Kenya Pittman, their all-stater, was 7. So certainly they're doing very well there. In the first period, Marshall was outscored by West 14-13, but wow, look at the second period. 23-10, the edge to the Commandos. What do you think Proctor told his troops at halftime, Darrell?
I think he just tried to regain their composure a little bit, and he's got to get his rebounding core back in there, and they've got to go inside, get some easy baskets, and get back in the ballgame.
There you see the Marshall huddle. A moment ago, you saw the Blackhawk huddle. 12-point game at halftime, but of course, when you have a premier three-point shooter like Melinda Spearman, you can cut into that gap very, very rapidly. But we'll see what West Aurora does to get back on defense. That's the thing that repeatedly has hurt them time and time again, and the Commandos have possession to start the second half.
Well, West Aurora hasn't put any defensive pressure full court on, and sometimes teams, when they play Marshall, I think are afraid to press because of Marshall's quickness, but we've always pressed Marshall, and we've had success with it. It helps control the game, control the tempo a little bit, so they might have some success if they give that a try. They're staying with their man-to-man right now.
Kim Williams to LaShonda Price, and we got a traveling violation. A little jab step over there by Kenya Pittman. So the basketball belongs to the Blackhawks, down 12 in possession here at the start of the third period.
1-2-1-1 trap. There's a lob pass again. They were lucky they got it there.
They stuck with the same defense, haven't they? Marshall, why change? Here's the long lead down the floor to Paisley. Paisley has struggled for the basketball on the baseline. To Hinkey for the short poke.
That's a good recovery.
Jeannie Hinkey pokes it in, 26-36. 36-26 if you prefer. And here's the Marshall turnover. Marshall with turnover number 13 of the evening. Amy Perriman with the ball for the Blackhawks. Right side to Tricia Paisley. Tricia holding the basketball, low inside to Massey. Massey puts it on the deck, goes to the hoop and scores.
That's right where you have to get the ball against Marshall.
Well, so suddenly we've got ourselves an 8-point ball game. Marshall 36, Aurora West 28. Sabrina Harris well out on the floor. There you see Sabrina. Deep in the corner to Kim Williams. Over to Pittman, and not Pittman over there. It's Sabrina Harris lost the basketball, and actually the cross-court pass was engineered by Kim Williams, the freshman. But the ball was deflected out by the Blackhawks, and so will be inbounded by Marshall's Commandos. Here's Harris. Harris at three-point range on the way. Got it. Sabrina Harris with the three-pointer at the top of the circle. 39-28, 11-point lead to Chicago Marshall.
That's rare for her to take a three-point shot.
Amy Perriman. Here is Melinda Spearman for the Blackhawks. Spearman cross-court to Perriman. Perriman rather methodically looks at that Marshall defense. They stick with the 2-3 zone. Down low to Paisley. Paisley has the shot, couldn't get it to stick. Here is Massey inside, off the glass, rattles it up and will not go. Hauled out and controlled by Scott off the defensive board for Chicago Marshall. Marie Scott gets it. They bring it up quickly. Price on the drive, lost the basketball, deflected away, stolen by the Blackhawks. Tricia Paisley hands the ball to Melinda Spearman. No special defenses on Spearman really in this ball game, Darryl.
No, they extended their defense out a little bit is all, and right now they don't have to worry about that.
Here's Hinkey, shot was blocked for the foul on Williams. Jeannie Hinkey went to the basket and the ball was stuffed on her by Kim Williams, but Williams picks up a personal foul for her problems. In the first half, Marshall incredibly played with only 2 personal fouls. There are only 6 charged in the first half against West Aurora.
Well, that's one thing. If you can teach your kids discipline, their job is not to steal the ball, but to force turnovers and control the game. You're going to win, and that's what Dorothy Gators did in the first half. They didn't reach. They did a good job moving their feet, and they forced turnovers.
There's the first free throw of the evening by West Aurora, and Jeannie Hinkey nets it. We'll see a replay of this personal foul. Yeah, she got it right across the forearm, didn't she?
Yeah, she just came across the top with the right hand.
Second throw is no good. The rebound is deflected over to Marie Scott, 39-29, Marshall by 10. Great move, Kim Williams, the freshman, cuts it loose, in and out. Rebound, Melinda Spearman for the Blackhawks. Spearman off to Paisley. Paisley down quickly to Hinkey. Hinkey had to hustle for the basketball, got to it. And we have a foul from behind on Marshall. Over the back of Massey, I believe is the call here, and the foul will go to Pittman.
I think it was Kim Williams, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess it was. Yeah, Kim Williams.
Kim Williams has this tendency to start doing this and get in foul trouble.
Pittman was there, but so was Williams, and on Williams is foul number 3. Not a shooting foul, it was the act of rebounding, and the Blackhawks will make it in from out of bounds. Here's Melinda Spearman. Spearman to Perriman. Back to Spearman. Spearman looking low inside to Massey. It's a 10-point lead to Chicago Marshall. 5:30 left to go in the third period. Just underway in the second half of this one.
Marshall staying with that 2-3 zone.
And we have Scott in the middle down at the baseline, and now we have Crockett working on one wing position. She's off the bench. Good-sized girl. Here's Perriman. Perriman top of the free throw circle, outside the three-point arc, right back to Paisley. Paisley having trouble as she tried to go baseline. There you see Perriman. Left side to Hinkey. Hinkey trying to penetrate. Pass for Spearman. Taken away by Crockett. Loose basketball. Rolls over other way and out of bounds. Going to be knocked out of bounds by Melinda Spearman. And Chicago Marshall will have possession. Sandra Crockett is a 5'11" 17-year-old junior with a 4.8 scoring average. Played very well against Mother McCauley early today in a reserve role.
She hit some big shots right from the key area in that game.
39-29. Marshall by 10. 4:52 for Chapter 3. Pittman. Sabrina Harris. Harris being dogged by number 34. That's Melinda Spearman. Back out to Pittman. Perriman has the assignment on Pittman. She's done a pretty good job on her. Pittman takes her inside now in the paint for the pull-up. Rebound.
night, and that requires kids to be out of school. So we need to look at the girls' tournament, and we're looking at the boys' tournament, and the whole thing. A mere fact, maybe looking what Indiana does and bring only 4 teams to the state site, wherever the site would be.
There's a lot of ideas being kicked around. Of course, the traditionalists like it the way it is, and some would like to go back to the 16-team state final format, and it'll be interesting to follow the ideas, but I know that the board's main idea is to make the programs productive for the students involved.
Well, of course, that's what we got the association for. That's the programs we have, and the activities run are for the kids, for the students. And I think in the state of Illinois, we've been fortunate to have a good staff, and certainly we have good school people out there, and we do have good programs.
Tom, what's happening statewide, as you understand it as a school administrator, enrollment-wise? We had a big dip there for a while. Are the school enrollments starting to creep back up a little bit now?
Yeah, they're starting to level off, especially in the suburban area. I think downstate they're still going down a little bit, but they're kind of, in the elementary districts, starting to, first, second, and third graders classes are larger. So I think we're kind of hit the low for a time, and we'll start to be going back up.
When you first started in the school business, did you think we would have the number of state championships we vie for every year, boys and girls?
No way. I was raised in the 50s, and it was strictly all for the boys. And seriously, we locked the young girls out, and I think girls athletics has been a great thing, because what's good for young men certainly had to be good for young ladies, and I've been one who has pushed for the girls' sports and will continue to do it.
Tom, thank you so much for the visit and helping us out after the ball game here. Good to see you. Good luck to you in the IHSA.
Well, thank you very much, Art. It's a pleasure to be here again.
Thomas Howard, the president of the IHSA Board of Directors, and of course from Palatine Fremd High School. And now let's kind of start our wrap-up portion of our telecast along with Darrell Kipp and talk about the final stats in the ball game. Darrell, anything you see there significant on that graphic?
Well, shooting percentage for Marshall, of course, they got a lot of those layups. Free throws, Aurora West had more free throws, but the rebounds and turnovers, a little bit of an advantage there for Marshall.
Rebounds almost evened up, 34-28 to Marshall, but nevertheless, that was a big factor. And when the game was still on the line, still being decided, Marshall dominated the board.
Right. It still comes back to those 4 or 5 turnovers in a row, right, that period of time when Marshall scored the 10 points in a row, and that was the game.
I think our crew gave us a great overhead shot of that press a couple of times and showed exactly how lethal that thing can be. And Marshall, of course, is not the first school to win with the press at Champaign, but nevertheless, they did it very well. Individual scoring for Aurora West, Melinda Spearman, 23 on the ball game. She averages 29, but she wound up with 23. I think our last report, she had 19. She had a lot of points late. Tiki Massey, 11, foul play throughout the ball game, and Ginny Hinkey had a 9-point total. For Marshall, it was Kenya Pittman with 20, and Harris had 14. Williams, the freshman, Kim Williams with 11, and LaShonda Price with 10, so great balance.
They had great balance, and those 2 freshmen will be back next year. We'll take a look at them.
There's your score by quarters, and with the exception of the first period, Marshall had the edge in every quarter and outscored 17-13 over Aurora West in the final stanza. So the basketball season for the girls is over, Darrell.
Well, it's just getting started for next year. I'm sure all the teams out there that saw this tournament and are involved are ready to come back, and it's a great situation, and hopefully everybody will get a chance to come back sometime.
Well, if you haven't ever been down here in person for the girls' state tournament, come on down. I think you'll enjoy it. We'll have a lot more basketball upcoming for you. The Class A boys tournament in 2 weeks and the AA tournament in 3 weeks. So a lot more basketball right here along the IHSA network. That's the story tonight. Chicago Marshall, AA state basketball champions this afternoon. Teutopolis again won the Class A state girls basketball championship. From the Assembly Hall, this is Art Kimball. My thanks to Darrell Kipp from Maine West. We wish you a very pleasant good evening.